My story begins about 3 years ago when my wife suddenly told me she was considering a divorce because she had been unhappy in our relationship for some time. We had been together for about a decade and married for over half of that time. This revelation came as a total shock to me. We hadn't been fighting and we had never had any conversations even remotely closely as serious as meriting a divorce. I listened to what she had to say. The core issue seemed to be a long-standing mismatch in our love languages. I show love through acts of service and giving gifts. She needed words of affirmation and physical affection. This had been our dynamic from the beginning, and she acknowledged it had never changed, but over time, it left her feeling unsatisfied with our relationship. Still, this had never been presented as a deal-breaker before, and I was blindsided by how suddenly she escalated it to talk of divorce. We started couples therapy. She said she didn't want me to change because she is asking me to, she wanted me to want to meet her needs on my own. I was open to trying, but she admitted her mind probably wouldn't change. From what she expressed, the therapist couldn't see a clear way forward for us. I told her I would respect her decision if she wanted to separate, but I believed we could still work on things. She hesitated, and we ended up in a strange limbo because she didn't know what she wanted. She said it felt like I was too good to leave, too bad to stay. About a year later came D-Day number 1. Out of nowhere, she broke down in tears and confessed she had a one-night stand with someone she met randomly. She seemed truly remorseful and sad. I was extremely shocked and had no idea what to do. I thought I would never stay after infidelity, but I guess you never know what you're going to do until you are faced with the event. We talked, we cried, we decided to stay together and try to rebuild. She refused to share many details, saying it would hurt me more to know. I accepted that at the time, thinking maybe she was right. We had a few good weeks, but eventually life returned to a numb normal. I was still shattered, struggling with nightmares and triggers. She, on the other hand, acted like nothing had happened. She never brought it up again. Few weeks later we had another heart-to-heart conversation about the affair, and I told her I couldn't continue if she was going to cheat again, and she said she couldn't promise she wouldn't. That moment stuck with me, even though she later denied saying it. We tried our hardest to be our best and brightest selves the next few months, but without a true goal in mind. I tried to get over it, without any therapy or help. I read some Esther Perel books that were helpful in some ways, but extremely unhelpful in that she completely glosses over the things that need to happen for someone to heal from an affair. I wish I had read more books back then, like The Courage to Stay. But alas, I can't change the past. I could tell her efforts were quickly dwindling as the weeks went by, and again we fell into just living like roommates. We were not unhappy, but we were not happy either. There was no intimacy at this point. She never initiated, and neither did I because I was not over D-Day number 1 at all. Fast forward to almost a year later, I found out she had been having yet another affair. This time not with a stranger, but with someone at work. I was contacted by the AP #2S wife, who had found messages and proof that they had been cheating. I had already suspected something was off, but this basically confirmed it. When I confronted my wife, she denied it at first, and tried to figure what I knew before even saying anything, and only admitted parts when I revealed what I knew. To me it seemed like she was more sorry about getting caught than about the affair itself. She promised to cut contact, said she would work to rebuild trust, and suggested various boundaries but didn't follow through. Still, I stayed, hoping we could repair things, and for a little while, things seemed to improve. A few months later I discovered she was secretly seeing AP number 2 again, and caught them meeting up after work. I confronted her yet again thinking this was the end of us, and again to my surprise, I decided not to end it yet. Our deep conversations once again gave me hope that these deep-seated issues were fixable, and that it had been another one-time mistake, like she said. She agreed to share her location moving forward and make a more concerted effort. During this conversation I also confronted her about some text I found earlier that year where she had told a friend that she was trapped in the relationship by me, and she felt horrible because she couldn't even go out or do anything, and that I only allowed her to go work and back. I was shocked and furious at finding out how she was trying to demonize me in front of her friends when in fact she was the one that set herself those restrictions in order to supposedly make me feel more safe. I asked her if she was living in some kind of alternate reality where this was actually true and if her friend knew that she had cheated on me 3 times already. She tried to minimize it by saying that she was just agreeing to what the friend was saying, but I had the proof of the text messages not saying that at all. She said she felt horrible because of what our relationship had come to, so she said these things that were not true because that's what she felt like. She tried to play herself the victim to her friends, and I'm pretty sure this was not the first time. I decided to let it go and move on. This is the point when I was really at a breaking point and finally started IC. I was stupid not to do it earlier, but I thought I could just process everything on my own. I had a journal I had been writing on since the first mention of divorce, so I had good outlet for my feelings, but it just does not compare to IC. If you learn anything from my post is that please get IC as soon as possible. It helps enormously to process your feelings. Also, I told my WW that she had to get IC, so she started IC shortly as well. A few months later after that last conversation, my D-Day number 4 happened. I discovered that what she had originally described as a ONS, D-Day number 1, was actually a long-term emotional and physical affair with a colleague that had been going on for many months, possibly years. Worse still, it likely began before she ever brought up divorce. This changed everything for me. I realized the talk of ending the marriage might have been a cover for her emotional involvement with someone else, not the result of soul-searching she did on her own. Every time we had a talk in the past I had asked her, "Is there anything else you'd like to come clean about?" And every time she lied and said no. It's insane to think about how callous she was and how she was trying to keep up the lie at all costs. A few days later after IC and thinking it further I decided to draw a hard boundary. To start things off positively I told her I appreciated the efforts she was showing to do her because I had noticed many improvements in the past 2 weeks. And I asked her to confirm if she was 100% committed to R. She had always been 1 foot out the door in the past, and this was not different either. She said she was trying R, but sometimes she did not know if it was going to work, or that I was ever going to forgive her, so she wasn't always 100% sure about R. This was already a bad sign, but I decided to forge on. I told her I needed the full truth about all the affairs. I did not need the nitty-gritty details about the sexual encounters, but needed to know the basics. When did it start? Who started it? How did you meet? Roughly how many times did you have sex? How were you hiding everything? Who ended the affair? Etc. She again said this was something she couldn't do. I told her she was not taking accountability for her actions by hiding the truth from me, and if this is where she will stand her ground, then I don't see us being able to move on with her anymore. She was defensive. She said these past 2 years, all we would talk about is about how everything is her fault, and not about the issues that were there before the affairs, and that wasn't fair. I told her of course not. I haven't even healed from the cheating. How do you think we're going to solve our other issues if you have not even been able to own up to your own cheating? She not so subtly tried to blame me for her having cheated, and I was not having it. She even went as far as saying that cheating had not been as easy as I thought, just wow, and that she had been stressed and torn about it when it was happening because she wanted to be with this other person but at the same did not want to leave me. I was just incredulous, but I let her say her piece. She was more defensive than ever during this conversation, and while she said she wasn't trying to blame me, but she was definitely trying to shift the blame away from herself. I told her that the only reason she doesn't want to tell me the truth is because she wants to avoid being accountable for it, because it will make things worse, and because she's scared that I will be even angrier at her. She agreed that was the case, that she was scared to tell me the truth. This basically confirmed my fears that the first affair was possibly far worse than I had imagined. I told her I couldn't understand how someone who supposedly wants R could not bring herself to tell me the truth, and that it just goes to show that she doesn't really want R all that badly after all. She just wanted to sweep everything under the rug and hope that I would fix myself, for her, for the issues that were there before the affair, and she would be able to be happy again. At the end of the conversation, she said, "Fine, I'll tell you the full truth, but then I'll leave." It seemed like a manipulation tactic to make it seem like I was choosing truth over love, and told her the actual truth is not as important to me as the lack of commitment you have shown to our efforts. So you've shown me what I need to see, and we are not on the same page. To me, it looks like what awaits us is divorce. I'm not saying that as a threat, but just letting you know this is where I'm going to draw a boundary. After all of this, she said she asked for some time to think. We'll be staying separated for now. I don't know what the future holds for us, but the possibility of our sounds very far right now based on yesterday's conversation. And even if she came back saying she wanted to come clean about everything, I'm not sure if I could accept that desperation move from her as an actual sign that she wants our, as opposed to her just desperately clinging on one last time and possibly feeding me more lies.